Hello and welcome if you're new to my channel, and if you're a subscriber, a warm welcome back. Every 4 to 6 weeks, I go around all the main luxury department stores in London just to have a look around at luxury across the board and see what's happening, what's trending, what's new, what's hip, what's selling, what's not, talk to the brands and also find out what's happening on the ground. In this particular video, I'm going to be focused just on handbags, and I'm going to take you around 5 stores. They are Harrods, Harvey Nichols, Selfridges, Liberties of London, and Dover Street Market. And with each store, I'm going to zone in on possibly 2, maybe 3 brands that I'd like to get on your radar. I'm Anesu Sagonda, and I produce educational luxury content for anyone after the finer things. So whether you're someone who is young and starting out and wanting to reap the benefits of buying quality from the get-go, or you're into luxury but you want to focus more on the brands that operate very much under the radar and heavily weighted on quality, or you're new to money and wanting to learn how to navigate the terrain, then my content is very much geared towards you. Before I kick off, I'm going to talk about 2 brands very quickly. The first brand is a brand I've had a number of comments about. Firstly, where would I include it in my hierarchy of handbags? I'm going to attach the series above. And the second question is just, what do I think of the brand in terms of the quality, in terms of the style? It's an Italian brand called Salvatore Ferragamo, privately owned family business. Bags are made in Italy. And I didn't include them in my hierarchy of handbag series because I wanted to focus on brands that would appeal to a much wider age range. Salvatore Ferragamo to me is a brand that's very mature in terms of the look and feel. It's for somebody my age, 45 and above. I like the colors. It's all about color. There's a lot of color going on with the brand. I love it. Designs are timeless, beautiful materials, fantastic craftsmanship. And it's all about the minimal fuss with their designs. They're not fussy, intricate, detailed. It's just minimal fuss. Where they shine is the leathers, the quality of the leathers, the craftsmanship. Within my hierarchy of handbag series, they fit very comfortably within the premium core. Premium core is your bags that are typically priced from 1,500 through to 3,000. They are in the middle of the premium core. Their most expensive bag, the Studio, is priced at 2,155, and then the prices come down to about 900. So it's below 1,500, but the majority are around that 1,500, a little below and going above that. I went to see a couple of their main stores in London, Bond Street, Sloane Street. I also went to concessions as well. And in one of the stores, I literally didn't get any service. I had 15 minutes on my own to really look around at the brand as a whole, so not just the bags, but also to look at the bags inside out, and I turned them literally upside down, inside out. And they have 2 styles. Their front runner, their best selling, is the Studio bag. Very much a mature bag, something I would wear smaller size, out and about for lunch, or a bigger version, a work bag, put in a lot of things. And then a smaller bag called the Boxyz, great as an evening bag out on holiday in Italy, south of France, something colorful, something just to put in my essentials. The top handle in the evening, and then with the strap during the day out and about. So the Boxyz and also the Studio. And when I had a lot of time to look around, I noticed one thing that really stood out to me, and I'd love to know your thoughts on this. I see a lot of bags weekly, daily. I'm touching, looking, feeling, trying to tear things apart, test them for quality. And I noticed these very subtle tears. I'm going to zone in on this. Very subtle tears or holes on this particular style from Salvatore Ferragamo. And I noticed it because I really had time to look at the bags, as I mentioned. And at the premium core, this is something I wouldn't expect to see, and something that would actually put me off a bag, because that's, at that level, that's not something I expect to see. I would expect to see it possibly everyday luxury, possibly your affordable luxury levels, but not premium core. And I didn't like this and didn't expect to see this, and it would put me off. What do you think? Is it important? Would you see it and think it doesn't matter? I don't think it's going to necessarily stretch or tear even more, but just for this level of luxury, it's not something I want to see. Let me know in the comments down below. But as a brand, I like it. It's mature in terms of the look and feel. Great designs, they're timeless, fantastic craftsmanship and leather. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it. The color is a big plus for me. My second brand is also an Italian brand. It's Tod's, and I want to talk about Tod's for two reasons. Firstly, earlier on this year in April, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy increased their stake in the business from 3.2% to 10%. And Bernard Arnault referred to this as friendly support. The rest of the business is owned by the Delaveil family, but over the last 5 years, Tod's have seen a fall in their sales, and the pandemic literally tipped them over the edge. And as I've mentioned with past videos, where you have brands owned by the big luxury groups, a big luxury group, you start to see the stock rises. You have Loewe, for example. You also have Bottega Veneta, which is owned by Kering. And Bottega Veneta is behind the pouch, which is the handbag that has literally set the pace and the tone in the handbag space. And I can guarantee you, with the new investment, the increased investment from Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, Tod's are going to start to benefit from the goodness that comes with being part of that group, whether it's ramping up on the marketing, introducing new designs. Watch this space on Tod's. The second reason I want to talk about them is because it's a brand that's very similar to Longchamp. I've spoken about Longchamp when it came to Le Pliage, part of my hierarchy of handbag series. But when it comes to the leather goods from Longchamp and from Tod's, I feel consumers are sleeping on the quality. The quality is exceptional, and it's incredibly fairly priced. You're getting the bag at a steal for the quality of leather you're getting for the price. It's amazing for both brands. But looking specifically at Tod's, timeless in terms of the designs. They're very sleek. It's a brand that's incredibly underrated and understated. I've only ever really known them for their driver shoes. They're beautiful, they're comfortable, come in a whole slew of amazing colors. But the bags, I just feel so many consumers have been sleeping on them. And with this new cash injection from LVMH, you need to get in on this brand. Don't do big flashy logos. It's incredibly underrated, understated, as I've mentioned earlier. The styles are very easy to wear. And they have a good range of bags, from your totes to your crossbodies to your smarter work bags. There's a really good, diverse selection of timeless, easy to wear bags. A brand for you to get on your radar for 2021, 2022, when you'll start to see the transformation of this amazing brand. My first department store is one you hardly ever hear about. It is Liberties of London, and it's located just after the intersection with Oxford Circus. As you head down towards Piccadilly, it's on your left-hand side off Great Marlborough Street. They get a lot of domestic traffic in there, and their focus is very much on new and up-and-coming designers. There is a bit of brand overlap with the other luxury department stores like Harrods, Selfridges, Harvey Nichols, for example. But it's on the super brand side, but the focus with them is on new and up-and-coming designers. But they do have a new fashion buyer, so it'll be interesting what direction the new buyer takes Liberties. I came in through the side entrance where the florist is, and as you come in, straight in front of you is the handbag department. And they have a range of brands that fit comfortably within your everyday luxury, so bags that are priced £500 and below, your affordable luxury, so 500 to 950, and your accessible core, 950 to 1,500. As you come in, behind you, there's Loewe, but I'm not going to talk about Loewe because I've mentioned them in the past. In front of you is a brand called Moon, and Moon are focused on your hand-woven straw baskets. They're hand-woven in Ghana. And then next to them is a fashion brand called Nanushka with their range of pleather bags. So that's your faux or your fake leather. I like the blue, I like the beige color. And then next to them, two brands I've already spoken about before, Chloe and also Anya Heinmarsh. And then next to them is a brand I absolutely love. I've been literally stalking this brand for the last 2 years. It's an Australian brand called Diffusion, and they're focused on hand-woven leather bags. Within the everyday luxury price range, so they're around £500 and below. I have seen 3 of these bags in the last 4 months, and every person I've spoken to about them cannot rave enough about them. The wear and tear is phenomenal. They're soft, they're robust, they're beautiful bags, very easy to wear. and they come in a range of peasant colors. They are inspired by Japanese peasant attire, and Japanese peasant attire is clothing that doesn't need any dye. Peasants couldn't afford dye, so they'd wear clothes that were typically neutral. So think of your browns, your beige, your grays, for example. So their colors are all within that color range. And then next to them, on the back wall, you have two directional designers with their range of bags. You have Maison Margiela on the top, and then the bottom, you have Issey Miyake. And then next to them, on the other side, is your Acne bags. And then coming back to the center of the room, after Moon, you have in front of you APC. APC is a French brand I've been asked about on numerous occasions. It's a brand that is typical in terms of your French style of bags, simple classic styles. Think of Celine. They have their own take of a box bag. They also have your range of crossbodies, a really nice bucket bag, and other easy to wear work casual bags. Their bags are made from a smooth calf skin, which scuffs very easily. Die-hard APC fans buy it for that, because as it scuffs, it develops its own character. But people who are not familiar with the brand will be quick to say, oh my goodness, it scuffs easily, I don't like it. But you buy it for the charm of the scuffing, the character the bag develops, but also the quality of the designs, beautiful designs, well-made bags. And then next to them, a brand called Uniform, similar in style to APC. And then next to them is a brand I'd like you to get on your radar. Very comfortably within your everyday luxury space, so priced £500 and below. It's a London-based brand called Danse Lente, which means dance slowly in French. There are a number of things I really like about this brand. Firstly, it's within the everyday luxury space, and for the space it's in, it's very well made. It looks even more expensive. It could fit comfortably within affordable luxury. I would even pay an affordable luxury price. The stitching is flawless. It's impeccable. Very subtle labeling. They have the brand just on the front, Danse Lente, and then London on the front. And then the styles are largely architecturally inspired. The two styles at the front are their core pieces, and then the back are your seasonal pieces. They work with leather. They also work with shimmering satin. And what I like about them, apart from just the quality for the level of luxury, is the style. They have their own little attitude. You wear the bag on your wrist, as I've done. And then as you're walking, you just support it with your hand. You also have the option to wear it as a crossbody, and it just moves the strap over. But you're buying it for the design. The quality is fantastic for the price point. Very well made. I also like the fact that it's a smooth leather, but it's not as delicate as your APC. It doesn't scuff as easily. So you'd get a lot more mileage before you start to notice the scuffs. But I like the color, I like the style, the quality of the leather. Very well made bag. For everyday luxury, it looks a lot more expensive. And this is my favorite brand within everyday luxury at the moment. The other brand I'd like to talk about is a brand that found fame and fortune off Instagram. It's called Mansur Gavriel. It is an American brand started in 2012. And what I like about it is simple, lightweight bags that come in a whole slew of colors. The designs are chic. There's always a little detail which doesn't overwhelm the outfit. It just adds to it, adds a little je ne sais quoi, but in a very simple, understated and elegant way. The bags are very light. Even if it's a small bag or a big bag, it is light. I particularly like this tote. When it comes to totes, there are quite a few in the market, and within everyday you have Kate Spade, but this gives really good competition to Kate Spade. The quality of the Saffiano, the stitching, the way the bag comes together, it looks absolutely exquisite. It's beautiful for the level of luxury it's at. It's affordable luxury, so it's £500 to £950, and I would very gladly spend that on their totes. This particular tote is priced at £450. And what I also like about it is the fact that with their totes, not even just the totes, all their bags, they have a different color on the inside, which just elevates the overall look of the bag, and it ends up looking a lot more expensive than what it is. But Mansur Gavriel, Really nice, simple, well-made bags. Great leather. It's smooth but with a sheen to it, so it doesn't scuff as easily, but it's a beautiful bag that does very well off its simplicity. And then next to them, front of the room, is a brand called Naghedi. And what I like about Naghedi is the bags are made from neoprene. Neoprene is the same material that's used to make your wetsuits. But what I like about this particular weave is it's flawless. When you look at the bag from the outside, the inside, you cannot see where they have joined the weaving. It looks like just one solid piece of weaving. So it's going to be waterproof. It's that wetsuit material, but interesting colors and beautiful design. My next store is literally 10 minutes down the road. It's off Haymarket. It is Dover Street Market. Dover Street Market is the mecca when it comes to fashion. They have a number of your directional fashion designers housed in there. So think of Comme des Garçons, Maison Margiela, Izumiyaki, Jill Sander, for example. They set the pace, the tone, the trend for the industry. You get a very fashion-forward crowd going in there, and you'll never be disappointed. It's spread over 4 floors. And what I noticed straight away is on every single floor, right now in Dover Street Market, they had Comme des Garçons bags dotted throughout. So there's a major Comme des Garçons theme going on in there. On the first floor, you have a selection of your bowling bag inspired bags. I'm going to attach a video above, men's weekend bags. Dunhill do a version of the bag, some of their briefcases. Comme des Garçons had their own take. Very simple, easy to use bowling bags, briefcases. And they stood out for all the right reasons. The colors, there was a shiny silver material, there was a black material, there's also a white material. All 3 materials scuffed incredibly easily. That is my only reservation. From an aesthetics point of view, the bags looked beautiful. They're made in Japan. Really nice accessories, but they're in everyday luxury. So they're priced £500 and below. If you buy one of them, wear it to death, use it to death. It's going to scuff and develop its own character. It's a bag, no matter how precious you are with it, it's going to scuff. They also had a number of other bags. There was what I call your camera bags, your photographic bags as well, small versions of those bags. But on every floor, there were different takes of Comme des Garçons bags. They also had bags from Valextra, from Loewe, and also from Bottega. Those are 3 brands I've already spoken about before, but I have never seen Comme des Garçons bags. They're fun, they're easy to wear. You wear them to death, enjoy them for the style, but not so much the quality of the leather. Selfridges is a department store that's not only geared towards somebody who's discerning and after luxury, but it's the consumer that's potentially a lot more socially, ethically focused. They think about their purchases, the type of brands they engage with, the impact of their production on the environment. What is the story, the backstory to the brand? And Selfridges more than delivers the eclectic mix of brands that they have, the collaborations, the events they host, the initiatives they're involved in. Project Ocean, for example. They have 3 departments that have handbags in them. I'm going to focus on just 2. The first one, it's located, you come in through the corner entrance. It's the intersection of Duke Street and Oxford Street. You come in, Christian Dior is in front of you, and directly in front of there is the department. And you have a wide array of niche brands, very much within your accessible core, premium core ranges. You have Stella, you have Romantica, you have a section, a resale section where they're selling secondhand Hermes, Gucci, Chanel handbags. You have Valextra, you have Marc Cross in there. You have Boyy, you have Alexander McQueen, you have Christian Louboutin, you have Miss Soma at the back. You also have Moreau, you have Alaya bags. Luna, and Luna is the brand that's behind the bags carried by Her Majesty, the Queen of England. But I'm going to focus on a brand that's in the second handbag section, and that's geared towards your more everyday affordable luxury brands and typically a younger consumer. Also within that brand, you have Off-White, you have Issey Miyake that you also have in Liberties, as I mentioned earlier. You also have in there Jacquemus, that's doing fantastically well. I think it's actually the best-selling brand in there. You have J.W. Anderson. But the brand I want to focus on is an eponymously named brand, Brandon Blackwood. And Brandon Blackwood is a Black American designer. And he's part of the Black luxury movement, trying to elevate the status and visibility of Black luxury designers, brands. But he rose to prominence off the back of a handbag he created a few months ago on the back of the Black Lives movement, Black Lives Matter. And very simple bag, but on it he had a message: end systemic racism. And it literally catapulted him to the forefront, and the rest is history. He's been in Selfridges literally for less than a month. And what I like about these bags, and I wanted to highlight, was they are very much an affordable luxury. They're priced £500 and below. He has a couple of ranges. This particular bag has another size, a bigger size, but it's very much, as you can see, Sac de Jour, Saint Laurent inspired. It gives me those vibes, the Sac de Jour vibes. But what I wanted to highlight with this bag was just the quality. It's your everyday luxury. It's under £500, but the quality is fantastic. I really like the leather that they use, and having looked at a number of brands within the same category, £500 and below, this is one of the best leathers I've come across. The quality of the leather, it is smooth, but it has a sheen and softness to it, so it doesn't scuff so easily. The stitching is perfect. It's literally flawless. I like it. And the way it's reinforced, so it's not going to unravel. What I also like is the hardware. It is fairly weighted in comparison to other brands within the same category. It has the legs underneath, so the bag doesn't scuff from the bottom. But what I really liked was just the quality for the level of luxury. It's a bag you could actually get away with having for life. You look after it, you could have this forever. This particular style, the smaller style, as a going out bag, possibly a work bag if you don't carry too many things, but it's a comfortable bag to take all your essentials. Bigger version, which would work very well as a work or everyday bag where you can get a lot more bits in it. But I like the quality, I like the leather, I like the craftsmanship, I like the hardware, I like everything about it in its level of care, of luxury. And it's a brand I'm going to watch. They are creating more styles, they're doing a lot more, and it's a brand that I think is going to stand the test of time based on what I'm seeing right now. And then moving on to my next department store, Harvey Nichols. Harvey Nichols gets a lot of spillover traffic from Harrods. It's literally 2 minutes walk away from Harrods. So people invariably will go from Harrods to Harvey Nichols or vice versa. But it also has a number of branches through the United Kingdom. I think there are a total of 5, one in Leeds, Manchester, Birmingham, Edinburgh. So it's also, it has a lot of domestic traffic. And there's quite a bit of brand overlap between Harrods and Selfridges and Harvey Nichols. But what you will find, and the brands have cleverly done this, is where they are stronger on one brand, they'll have a much bigger selection than the other department stores. So that is where they kind of balance things out, that they're stronger on certain brands and have a bigger selection of their collection each season. Harvey Nichols has one department, so you come in through the side entrance, the entrance at the top of Sloane Street, come through there, and then you have all their handbags. And their handbags are typically between your affordable and your accessible core luxury. But what I did is I ran upstairs to the first floor, and they have more of your premium core super brands, and I just had a look around to see what else they had. There were 3 brands that were quite interesting. The first, a brand I really like, Jill Sander, and they had a huge selection of their bags. They had your more everyday, easy to wear, casual, dress up, totes type bags. And then they also had your going out, your occasion bags in your pinks, your blues, your yellows, your pastel colors. What we are finding now on the back of the pandemic is that a lot of brands are not producing your more statement, event, wow factor handbags because people are not going out. They've reacted very quickly. They've had to react to the circumstances and produce quirkier styles, a good wide selection of your everyday or the bags you can wear to the occasions that are permissible now, like for example a walk in the park, meeting people outdoors, doing things where it's not so much about the pomp and fanfare and really dressing up, but just wearing something nice and comfortable, starting to dress up again since we haven't been doing it for a year and a half. The other brand, a couple of brands, I went to JW Anderson as well, similar to Selfridges in that they also had their totes, but they also had some of their smarter bags. And you're seeing a lot of the big gold chunky chains on them, which you're also seeing on their shoes. And then Loewe had a selection of bags in an array of colors you don't necessarily find in the other department stores. And then I also wandered over to Max Mara. Max Mara is a brand I've been asked about by a couple of subscribers, and they have an interesting mix of bags. They have your smarter, more casual, your totes, your crossbodies, in brown, varying shades of brown. I saw camel in there was beige, chocolate brown, cream, black, and also a really nice pink, like a baby pink, a bit heavier than a baby pink actually, but interesting designs going on in Max Mara. And then back downstairs to the ground floor and having a look around, what I found interesting is as I walked up in quality, so you have Stored, you have Kassler, Vivienne Westwood, you have LMA, and then you have Wandler. As you go along the shelves, you notice the quality goes up based on the feel, the look. I was looking at the craftsmanship of the bags, and you really notice the difference. And that's why I was saying, in your everyday luxury, brands such as, for example, Brandon Blackwood really stand out for the quality of the leather when I compared to the feel of Stored, for example, Castle, LMA, and also another brand that I'm going to talk about in Harrods. You just notice the difference, and that's why I said there's certain brands that are really dominating the everyday space. But the two brands that I want to talk about in here, the first one is one that I've spoken about before, Wandler. But Wandler has a huge department in Harvey Nichols. They have a huge selection of their bags, and I want to focus specifically on their Hortensia bag. They do a lot of geometric inspired designs in a whole slew of colors. They have a huge selection in Harvey Nichols, and what I like about them, it's a Dutch brand, started in 2017, and their bags are handmade in Italy. The quality for what you're getting is fantastic, very well made. I like the way they reinforce the bags. They're robust, the stitching is neat, it's perfect. Quality of the leather, it's a smooth leather, but it's not as sensitive, anywhere near as sensitive, for example, as APC or Comme garçons, as I mentioned. This is not going to scuff as easily as the other two brands. Very subtle branding, you just have the Wandler on the front, but otherwise what really speaks to me is just the quality of the bag, the shape, the leather, the craftsmanship. Wandler is a phenomenal brand, not just for Hortensia, this style, but they have an interesting mix of other styles, but you're in good company when it comes to the overall product. The other brand I wanted to talk about is a brand started in 2006. It's called Boyy, spelled Boyy, and it's all around. The focus is on the buckle. This is a new bag for this season, but the bag that they are known for is just a bucket bag with the buckle on the front. Tends to come in your smoother leather, which I'm not a huge fan of. I prefer the full grain leather, a lot more robust. I feel it looks nicer. You're going to get more wear and tear. It's not going to scuff as easily. The wear and tear is going to be a lot better on the bag of this style. This is new for this season, and I like it because of the quality of the leather, the craftsmanship, different style. It doesn't have the legs underneath. And the one subtle thing I don't like, but this is more from an aesthetics point of view, is the way the buckle's positioned. It just looks clumsy. This doesn't look neat. I would have liked something neat. So it just kind of flops, and I don't like that. But everything else about the bag I really like. And Boyy's an interesting brand for you to get on your radar. It's in your accessible core 1,000 to 1,500. It's a bag for life, very well made, interesting design all around the buckle. And then moving on to my final department store, my favorite of all the luxury department stores, it's Harrods. Harrods is very much a destination department store. People will come to London just for the Harrods shopping experience. I've known people to do that over the weekend. And one thing I like about Harrods is the quality, it's assured quality, and they will engage with brands that are producing the very best. And they don't hesitate to get rid of a brand literally if it's not performing. So one thing I know is when you see a brand in Harrods, you know it's quality. You watch the space with whatever the brand is. Handbags, you come in, they take up about a quarter of the entire ground floor. The section I'm focused on is in the basement. It's where you have your everyday affordable luxury bags. In that, you have Longchamp, you have Marbury, you have Marc Jacobs, and you also have a couple of other smaller brands. There's a brand called By Far, and there's also another brand called Yuzefi. But between those two, my money is on Yuzefi. I've been watching Yuzefi for the last couple of years. Phenomenal brand for your cheap bags, your everyday luxury. Bags are priced well under the £500 mark, and they are known for their unusual designs. That is what you'll see with Yuzefi, and very much in keeping, as I said earlier, with just producing fun bags to wear now when people aren't doing things that require your show-stopping wow factor outfits. Yuzefi is a British brand. They produce their bags handmade in Spain, and what I like about them is just the simplicity, the unusual designs. I like the quality of the hardware. This is fairly weighted. It's not a cheap weight. It is for an everyday luxury bag, but the quality is good. I like the design. I like the minimal branding. Just at the front, very subtly says Yuzefi. And it's just a very simple, easy to wear bag. The leather is a little more on the delicate side. It's not as robust, for example, as your Brandon Blackwood. And it's not as delicate as the Comme, garçons that I mentioned earlier. But it is on the delicate side and will scuff. But this is not an everyday bag. It's an occasion bag, which you're going to bring out once in a while when you go out and you just need something fun. And their bags are generally not everyday bags. It's just something unusual, something fun, something to pick up your outfit. So Yuzefi is a brand worth taking a look at when you're in Selfridges, just looking for something that's fun to add to your selection of going out bags. But looking at the department stores, you're spoiled for choice depending on your style, the budget, what you're after. As I mentioned, my money is on Dragon Diffusion. I like Todd's bags. I also like Wandler. And I'm going to be watching the space, particularly on Brandon Blackwood. New brand, you're seeing them in Selfridges, and I think they're going to do spectacularly well. Their bags are functional, they're simple, they're affordable, they're luxurious, they feel $1 million. For the level of luxury, they're fantastic. Any other questions, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know your thoughts on the selection of bags in the luxury department stores at the moment. Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.